The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
In education news this morning, a handful of local high schools will hold graduation ceremonies today. And I caught up with one local graduate who's already got some experience walking a graduation stage. Kirsten Jimenez-Gray has always done things a little differently.
At the time when I started, there was very few that I knew that were doing the same thing that I was doing.
The time was 5 years ago.
I actually decided to start doing dual enrollment classes in 8th grade.
As if middle school wasn't hard enough, Jimenez-Gray took her first college-level class at just 12 years old. Bakersfield College's American Sign Language class hooked her, and she hasn't looked back.
There were times she would come out and somebody would tell her she's too young to be here, and she proved that person wrong.
Earlier this month, Kirsten walked the BC commencement stage at the age of 17. She admits it wasn't always easy.
Of course, I've had the normal college student experience. I did, of course, cry and sob behind my computer screen multiple times and be like, why did I enroll myself in this class?
But she's put herself that much closer to her dream of opening an orthodontics clinic. Why orthodontics? Because Jimenez-Gray loves to make people smile.
If I can help somebody else's smile change, to make a change in their daily lifestyle, to be able to smile and laugh and make others smile and laugh, I will be beyond grateful to be able to do that.
Jimenez-Gray will be attending Florida A&M University in the fall. Well, congratulations to Kirsten, and congratulations to all of our graduates. You know, we know that you guys have worked so hard over the past few years, especially, and a lot of graduations happening today and tomorrow, so congrats.
Really exciting. That's just an incredible amount of work. So impressive. Yeah. 17 Homicide Tracker this morning. Bakersfield police are investigating a homicide in South Bakersfield. Officers were called out to Houchin Road near Terrace Way just before noon yesterday. Officials say the victim is a man, but no other details were made available.
And in your 17 Court Watch this morning, a teen accused of shooting and killing a man last year in East Bakersfield was at the Juvenile Justice Center yesterday, where a scheduled status conference was postponed until July. Sonny Valletta will eventually undergo a fitness hearing where a judge will decide whether his case should be sent to adult court to face trial in the shooting death of 19-year-old Cesar Joseph Malta. The deadly shooting happened back on August 12th on Oregon Street near Kern Street. Valletta was 16 when he was arrested. If convicted of first-degree murder as an adult, Valletta would face a life term in prison. A conviction as a juvenile would result in him being released by the time he turns 25.
And a 28-year-old man is due in court today facing charges of vehicular manslaughter and hit and run following a crash that killed a woman Saturday. Bakersfield police say it happened around 8:40 p.m. At Highway 178 and Alfred Harrell Highway. The victim, 56-year-old Morgan Barber, died at the scene. The driver of the pickup truck, identified by police as 28-year-old David Alvarez, ran from the scene. He was arrested and booked Sunday into Kern County Jail and is expected to face a judge today.
From our 17 follow-up file this morning, the owner of an Oildale business that was destroyed by fire over the weekend is talking about her loss. It was one of 3 businesses that burned to the ground over the weekend. 17's Marco Torres with a look at what's left behind.
It started as a brush fire, according to Kern County Fire Department. The fire began next to a homeless encampment behind Dick's Automotive and Service on State Road near Olive Drive. Arliss Trails Sports Motorcycle Shop caught fire next. The business had dozens of customers getting their bikes maintained. Those bikes now all gone. The owner's kids were a big part of the business.
Me and my brother used to take off seats, and we used to do tires, carburetors, a lot of things here. And it was sad that it burnt down. We spent 1 or 2 summers here, actually.
Banachek's, a popular 41-year-old billiards and social destination for locals, burned down too.
People need to realize that this is not just a bar.
Britt says more than 30 regulars have called this place home. Her eldest son's wedding was held there, along with baby showers and funerals.
I don't know. It's heartbreaking. Colors to it. But we'll be okay.
Britt says she wants to reopen Banachek's, but it'll take time.
I only know one thing for certain. My landlord said they're not going to rebuild here. I'm going to do my best to get them back to work. So that's my hope.
Marco Torres, 17 News.
Your time's 5:35 now, and Bakersfield police need your help finding a man who hasn't been seen in more than a week. Here's a picture of 30-year-old Ramon Castro. He's described as 5 foot 8 inches tall with long dark brown hair and brown eyes. BPD says Ramon is considered at risk because he's not been reported missing previously. He was last seen on Brundage Lane Saturday, May 21st. If you have any information on where he may be, call 327-7111.
In state politics this morning, there was a contentious, hours-long closed-door meeting last night among state lawmakers, coming after Assemblyman Robert Rivas claimed he had enough votes to oust Anthony Rendon as leader of the state assembly. But after all that time behind closed doors, both Rivas and Rendon came out yesterday with a joint statement to say Rivas has the support to be the next leader of the assembly, but Rendon should remain speaker until at least the end of this legislative session. Rivas says this is the start of a thoughtful transition.
To have this acknowledgement from the Speaker that I do have enough votes to be the next Speaker, as affirmed this afternoon in our caucus. And I look forward to working with Speaker Rendon on a thoughtful transition in the future. We have done this the right way. I'm very proud of the coalition we've built. We've taken the high road and following this historic precedent that has been set in the past by speakers. And so I want to thank our broad and diverse statewide coalition for doing the right thing, because at the end of the day, this isn't about myself, this isn't about Speaker Rendon, but it's about the work we have to do here for the betterment of our state and for all Californians.
Rivas would not say what or if or what was the last straw for Democrats who want him in power instead of Rendon. And while the two agree to transition power at some point, there's no guarantee Rivas has the support of the crop of new assembly members that will get elected to the body later this year.
5:37 is your time now. In other legislative news, California workers who work in ultra-hot conditions could soon get new protections. A bill in the state legislature would revise the heat illness standards for workers in industries like agriculture and construction. It would require them to get additional paid rest breaks and have more access to cold water when temperatures exceed 105 degrees. The proposal is already passed in the Assembly and has been sent to the state Senate for consideration.
17 News is your local election headquarters, and our plan for tonight was to bring you our 6th candidates debate of this election cycle, featuring the two contenders for the job of Kern County Assessor Recorder. Now, unfortunately, 17 News is canceling that debate after one of the candidates, Todd Reeves, just tested positive for COVID-19. Reeves is taking on Assistant Assessor Laura Avila in the June primary. Now, if you'd still like to learn more about those candidates, you can go to our website, kget.com, click on the Election Connection banner. You'll find everything you need to know.
Now to the latest COVID-19 case numbers in Kern County. Public health officials updated their dashboard yesterday to show 845 new positive cases, but no new deaths attributed to the virus. State data shows that there are 30 patients hospitalized with the virus across Kern, 5 in ICU beds. Since the start of the pandemic, nearly 2,500 lives have been lost to COVID-19 in Kern County. COVID-19 cases have risen sharply across the country and right here in Kern, but officials think the number could actually be much higher because of take-home tests. People who test positive with an at-home test are supposed to self-report their results, but experts suspect many do not. According to UC Davis professor Dr. Brad Pollock, the availability of home testing was the beginning of the end for accurate COVID-19 data, and he warns COVID variants are still a concern.
The U.S. Department of Justice has asked a federal appeals court to overturn an order lifting the travel mask mandate. In April, a federal judge declared the mandate requiring masks on airplanes, buses, and in transit hubs unlawful. Days before that judge's order, the CDC had extended mask requirements through May 3rd. The agency said it still recommends travelers continue to wear masks on public transportation. The Justice Department told the appeals court that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention order issued last year was within the agency's legal authority. The CDC has not responded to a request for comment as to whether it will reinstate the requirement if the ruling was overturned.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.